What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we're going to be talking about three penny stocks that could probably explode in 2022. And we don't even need things to go very right for these penny stocks to explode. We just need things to keep going exactly how they have been going, and we should see some massive gains on these penny stocks because they are in prime positions to benefit from some key things that could be happening in 2022. So let's start off taking a look at the very first one, Northern Dynasty Minerals, ticker symbol NAK. Now, this is a gold mining stock. It has a market cap of $184 million and trades for about 35 cents per share. Now, what they do is they engage in the exploration and development of gold and copper mineral properties, and its main mine is the Pebble Copper Gold Molybdenum project, and that mine is not actually active. And in fact, if you take a look at their site, you can see that the Pebble project, this mine that they are going to hopefully in the future operate, is the most significant underdeveloped copper and gold resource in the world. So it is a very significant project for them, and it would certainly balloon their stock price much higher than 35 cents where it currently sits. Their market cap would surely grow much higher. There are some issues with this that we're going to talk about, but if you take a look at the chart, you can see that over the past 3 years, this is a chart of the past 3 years, that they have gone deep into oversold territory, okay? They are currently sitting well below 40 cents, which has traditionally been a zone of support for them, between 30 and 40 cents. Typically, every time they get down to these levels, they end up shooting up in a big way, sometimes to highs of $2.50. And keep in mind that none of this is actually on news that the mine that they're hoping to operate has actually been approved. So the reason that this mine that they're going to operate hasn't been approved is because it is in Alaska and it could potentially cause some environmental damage. And in fact, the Biden administration does not like the idea of this mine at all. So the Biden administration is actually trying to block this mine. Trump was potentially a little bit more willing to go along with it. He may not have cared as much about the environment as the Biden administration, but all in all, it's not looking good at the moment for NAK stock with this mine going through, because this is where the mine would be in Alaska. And people are worried that Bristol Bay would potentially be contaminated with a bunch of runoff from the mine. If there was a big operation going on up here, there would surely be a lot of pollution being caused, potentially contaminating Bristol Bay. And you can also see there are a bunch of national wildlife refuges and state parks nearby. So that's why this mine has not yet been approved. Now, the reason that this stock could be doing very well in 2022 is because we have seen massive inflation over the course of 2021. It's expected that that will continue in 2022. Gold is an inflation hedge. It's almost certain, in my opinion at least, that people will be flocking to gold and other precious metals in 2022. Now, if that happens, then gold all of a sudden is going to be very expensive. And as you saw on their own website, the Pebble Project is the most significant underdeveloped copper and gold resource in the world. Now, that means that the Biden administration will have two options. They can either continue blocking the mine, or they could potentially let this one slip through if times get really tough and gold is all of a sudden very valuable. They may decide that it's worth having a big gold mine in Alaska working for the United States. So that could be a potential reason why we could see this mine going through in 2022. Obviously, there's a lot of risk to this, right? There is potential pollution that this could cause. There's obviously people who are going to be against it. And it's not a guarantee that that's going to happen, but it is a potential situation that we could be looking at where we could see a big positive catalyst, not just for NAK if gold prices go up, but also if they get that mine approved. I think this stock could explode. Obviously, it's not a guarantee. You can't say for sure if that's going to happen. It is just a potential situation we're looking at, but they are almost certainly going to bounce out of this 30-cent range that they've been in for the past while because they have done that pretty much every time in the past. I mean, potentially this is the one that kills them off and they could dip lower and go bankrupt. Who knows? But that doesn't seem very likely to me. All in all, this looks like a pretty promising one. I am holding some shares. I'm very interested in Northern Dynasty Minerals, ticker symbol NAK. Now on to the next stock, but before we go there, I want to point out that we currently have 8,798 subscribers on the channel. And if you guys want to help out and get us to 8,800 subscribers, we only need 2 people to subscribe. So feel free to do that. If you wouldn't mind helping out, I would really appreciate it. We do a lot of videos on these types of penny stocks. I try to do at least one a week to cover some high potential plays. Now, the next stock that we're going to be looking at is Grand Tierra Energy Inc. This is an oil stock. It currently trades for about 77 cents per share or a $290 million market cap. Now, this is another potential inflation play, right? If you look at the chart for this over the past 3 years, you can see it's fallen down massively and got incredibly hurt during COVID, right? When COVID first hit, this stock tanked because oil prices dropped to virtually nothing. In fact, for a certain period of time, the price of oil was negative. So people were actually paying you to take oil away. However, this company has rebounded significantly, right? They got down to around 17 cents. They're currently sitting at 70. And over the course of the past year, they've been doing very well. In fact, they started the year at 37 cents and now they're at 75. So they've just about doubled. And this is because oil prices have increased dramatically. If you look at the past year, oil started the year around $50. Now it's at $75 per barrel for crude oil. So it's about a 50% increase, and that has resulted in the price of the company doubling. Now, it seems likely that with all of this inflation, we'll probably continue to see oil prices rise. If that happens, then this company, which is an oil company that operates in Colombia and Ecuador, which we have a map of right here as two South American countries rich in oil. That's where it currently operates. If we do see oil prices continue to rise, then it seems likely that this company's price would also continue to rise to reflect the increased gains that they're getting from selling oil for a higher price while maintaining the same fixed costs, right? It doesn't actually cost them more to get oil out of Colombia and Ecuador just because oil's price is higher. They're able to make more money because there's more demand for it and there's more inflation. So the numbers on their balance sheet should be looking better as the price of oil rises, and so should their stock price. So that's what I'm expecting to continue in 2022. They've been doing very well in 2021, and I'm glad that I've been holding them. However, I expect that they'll continue to do very well in 2022, and they are a cheap penny stock. Obviously, penny stocks have significant risk. As you can see, they did drop dramatically in 2019, but they have been recovering fairly nicely over the past year, just about ever since the pit that they entered during COVID when they entered around the 17-cent range. So they have been doing pretty good since then. I expect it will probably continue in 2022. I think that they could definitely do really well if we continue to see oil prices continue on this upwards trajectory, which it could get pretty crazy inflation-wise. Now, the third stock that we're going to talk about is Medical Marijuana Inc.com, ticker symbol MJNA. Now, this is an over-the-counter stock, and it actually trades for 1.8 cents. So it's incredibly cheap, incredibly risky. It has a $63 million market cap, and what they do is they engage in the development, sale, and distribution of hemp oil that contains naturally occurring cannabinoids. They do that on their website that you have right here, medicalmarijuanainc.com. And this company touts oftentimes that they're a company of firsts. We don't care too much about the fundamentals, but we will cover the fact that they are a very accomplished company, right? They're the first company to legally import CBD into Russia. They became the first direct selling company to offer CBD products in Europe. They're the first company to legally import CBD products into Argentina, the first company to sell CBD products in Puerto Rico. But what we really care about is the incredible support line that they have just crossed under. So they are actually trading at an incredibly low valuation. If you look at the all-time chart, you can see that they typically get to around 2 cents before bouncing up in a massive way. All of these green wicks are little pumps that they've been on. And most recently, they got up as high as around 22 cents per share when we were looking at potential cannabis legalization when a lot of the meme stocks were running. We saw this stock run up massively. Now, it is currently trading at 1.8 cents per share. And if we do see cannabis legalization in 2022, which we are expecting because we have GOPs or Republicans actually saying that the feds must get out of the way regarding cannabis legalization. We're seeing Republicans across the country, from state houses to Congress, pushing legalization bills. It seems incredibly likely that we could see cannabis legalization in 2022, and it seems very likely that MJNA would benefit greatly from this, probably more so than they did in the past when they got up to 22 cents. I could see this one really going up quite a bit, potentially even to 50 cents. Who knows how high this one could go, but it is incredibly cheap. I actually just bought 100,000 shares of it myself, and 100,000 shares sounds like a lot, but when it's trading at 1.8 cents, it actually just cost $1,800. But once again, this is an over-the-counter stock, so you can't actually buy this on Robinhood or Webull. You're going to need something like TD Ameritrade or Fidelity or something like that to trade this stock, so it is a bit further out of reach for some people than other stocks, but it is also a promising one, especially looking at this max long-term chart. You can see that pretty much every time it gets to 2 cents, it ends up bouncing back in a big way. And sometimes it takes a year to really get up to the highs, but it does happen eventually. So I am really looking forward to this stock performing well in 2022. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. I'm not recommending that anyone buy or sell any stocks. I'm just letting you guys know some of my opinions on these stocks and some of the news that they have going for them and some potential catalysts that could be bumping them up in 2022. But obviously, none of this is financial advice, and penny stocks, as all stocks do, carry great risk. So other than that, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.